welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show that separates fact from fiction. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a comedy legend and friend of the show, it's Joe Brand. And singer, actress and 80s icon, it's Sinitta. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, stand-up comedian and Taskmaster star, it's Ivo Graham. And he's a rock god and guitar legend. It's the one and only Johnny Marr. We begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they have no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction, and Joe is first up tonight.
I once dumped my hypnotist boyfriend when I brought him a surprise breakfast in bed, only for him to reveal he'd hypnotised me to do it.
David's team.
OK, I think we're going to go true.
When was this, Joe?
It was last week, Rob.
Really?
Well, it was when I was a student, back in the 1850s. He was doing a show at our uni.
Did he have a stage name, Joe?
The Great Hypnotist, Rob.
It's good. It's good.
That was his stage name, The Great Hypnotist?
No, it wasn't.
No. Well, OK, do you want to make something else up?
Duncan Wilson.
What was the breakfast, Joe?
It was kind of like mushrooms and black pudding, which I wouldn't go near in a million years.
And were you aware that you were doing this, or were you in a zombie-like trance? Were you walking around like this, or were you feeling everything was normal?
I think that's not hypnotism, that's being a mummy in Scooby-Doo.
You would have got away with it too if it wasn't for that pesky kid.
You had no memory of preparing the mushroom and black pudding breakfast?
No, I didn't, David.
Did you have any memory of purchasing the ingredients?
No, and that's because I didn't purchase them.
If someone's just tuned in, they'll think that David's doing an advert for Age Concern. So you have no recollection of buying the mushrooms, Joe?
OK, what's it going to be, truth or lie?
My worry about it is, aren't stage hypnotists... let me put this carefully. Charlatans.
I think there are stage hypnotists who can hypnotise people. I think that's
well,
a given.
It's important that some people should think that, or they'd have no audience at all. So, but I'm not convinced that a stage hypnotist could make someone cook a breakfast in a sort of trance.
It's a very good argument, but Joe's just so believable.
Well, what you have to do is separate the plausibility of the people from what they're asserting, because she literally read it off a card. So it's no reflection on her personal integrity, whether it's true or not.
Well, it is, if it's true she had a one-night stand with a hypnotist.
Who hasn't?
Who hasn't slept with Duncan Wilson? We'll never know.
Yeah.
Maybe we have and we don't realise.
Yeah, well, exactly. Yeah. What do you think, Ivo?
I'm actually with Johnny. I believe it.
You believe it?
Oh, you have no grip on your team, do you? This is lovely to see.
It's anarchy.
It's mayhem over there.
No.
You're like Liz Truss, desperately trying to keep everything together.
What I'm precisely like is Theresa May, who voted against Brexit and then was happy to be the Prime Minister that pushed it through. Just like...
That's much better, yes. Very good. So, Joe, you've convinced them. They think it's true. Was it true or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Jo wasn't hypnotised by her boyfriend. Ivo, you're next.
After 1 year at university, in order to improve my love life, I attended a Duncan Wilson gig.
I don't think that's what it says, Ivo.
Yeah. After 1 year at university, in order to improve my love life, I changed my bed linen.
Louise team.
Wow. Now, just to be clear, do you mean you were using a certain type of bed linen that you were regularly washing, but then changed it for a different type? Or do you just mean you had never washed that same bed linen?
No, I got a different style of bed linen, and it's concerning the noises of horror that came from an audience who believed that it was possible.
So what was the bad luck sheets, let's call them?
I think it was a standard green duvet cover from John Lewis.
What is the problem with that?
Thanks, Dad.
I mean...
So where did you go, first of all, for this new bed linen?
I retrieved an old duvet from my childhood home.
And that had on it...
Thomas the Tank Engine. And the pillowcase did actually have the full ensemble cast on it.
Right, well, here we go, then. Who were the full ensemble cast?
Well, don't you worry. You've got James there, you've got Gordon there, you've got Percy there, you've got Toby the Tram, and, of course, grinning at the back, you've got the Fat Controller.
Do you know what, Ivan? I believe you.
Thank you, Sinitta.
I think when you're at uni, right...
There's so much pity in your voice.
No, but I do feel sorry for you, but I get it.
When you went home to get your childhood bedspread...
Yes.
It would be right to assume that that was from a single bed, because you were a young lad and you had a...
Yes.
Is that not a bit of a challenge as well, the fact that you're inviting a lady and you've got a small single bed?
Oh, I had a single bed at college, didn't stop me.
You're a little fella.
I mean, it was quite the squeeze at times. I rather enjoyed it.
Did you ever christen
Did Thomas ever
the
see
Tank?
action?
Yeah.
Maybe it's more delicate to say, were there ever any passengers in Thomas's train?
There were never any passengers
Oh,
with
no.
Thomas, but in third year, Fireman Sam put out a lot of fires.
All right, so what are we thinking then? Sinitta, what do you reckon?
I still believe him.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
and well done.
Now you're being patronised as well.
No, I think it's possible, this, because I think he might have thought it might be a conversation starter.
I thought it was a conversation starter. I wasn't in any of the conversations.
Yes. True.
You're saying it's true. Ivo, was it true or was it a lie?
It was, I'm afraid to say, true.
Yes, it's true. Ivo did change his bed linen to improve his love life. Sinitta, you're next.
For my 50th birthday, Simon Cowell gave me a life-sized painting of himself.
David's team.
Oh, wow.
Is it on A4?
Describe the painting.
See, he's wearing, like, a blue cashmere sweater.
Yes.
It's only, like, from the waist up.
But you couldn't see the high trousers. And what have you done with it? Too big for a shredder?
I have it in storage.
You have it in storage? Is that what you call landfill? Very good. I can't imagine, Johnny, that you've come across Simon Cowell in your music career. I imagine it's very much a different world.
It is, yeah. We've been in the same building one time, but opposite ends of the room, scowling at each other. Well, I was scowling anyway.
I don't think he can anymore.
I think it's a lie.
What I think, if that was made up, you wouldn't say it was just from the waist up. I think you'd imagine it was a full-length picture.
I see.
So it's the fact that she said it's just from the waist up makes me think it's true.
And, Ivo, what are you going to say? Poop, poop, here comes Ivo with his guess. I'm doing Ringo Starr.
I actually thought it was a bit Terry Wogan.
Terry Wogan?
Yeah, I know.
If it's anything, it's Gary Barlow. Hello, boys, let's get the band back together. Come on, Robbie, we'd love you to join us. Come on, Mark, get in the car, we're going to the youth club. Ivo, what are you going to say?
David's, if I may say, rant about waist-up portraits has made me very scared to get it wrong. So I'm going to say that it's a lie.
My rant, as you call it, was saying that that's what gave the story verisimilitude. I do not understand that. You think it's a lie?
No,
if you think it's a lie, you need to say that.
David, it's as though you're dropping him off on his first day at uni. And you're giving him some of the hard facts of life. Now, if you're going to represent our family in this university, there are things you're going to have to know.
Do I go?
Sometimes. Sometimes when you arrive in a room, sometimes when I've been with you and we've been out and about, you'll arrive in a room and you will slightly go... You did ask. Ivo.
I wasn't sure, but I think David's point about the portrait with the waist up, you couldn't make that up. I think it's true.
Yeah. And Johnny, you've changed as well. Right, Sinitta, you've convinced them they think it's true. Was it true or was it a lie?
It was a lie.
Oh! I'm so sorry.
Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Danny. So, Johnny, what is Danny to you?
This is Danny, and he came to my rescue when I was egged in the co-op.
Ivo, how do you know Danny?
This is Danny, and together we form 2/3 of popular woodwind trio Tutti Frutti.
And finally, David, what is your relationship with Danny?
This is Danny. He dropped and smashed his phone in disbelief when he caught me watching him watching me.
So there we have it. Lee's team, where will you begin?
Well, before we even start, can I just say I think Johnny Marr might be the coolest person we've ever had on Would I Lie to You?
Yeah.
But I should also point out the bar is very low. And before you, the winner of that was a joint thing between Mr Motivator and Stephen Hendry. So, Johnny, where was this?
Yeah, Manchester 1979, something like that. I was just 15.
Was it a single egg or a group?
It was many, many eggs.
Who was doing the egging?
The other members of staff.
What do you mean, the other members of staff?
So you were working there?
Well, I was working there that evening, and then I was let go. And,
How long had you done at Co-op at this point?
about 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
And what was your job?
Stacking shelves, eggs.
And why were they egging you?
It was a tradition. When you got fired, if it was a Friday night, you had to go out the back, out the loading bay, and you were met by a firing squad.
So you had the embarrassment of being sacked, followed by an immediate egging by the staff?
Yeah, it was like a dishonourable discharge.
And how many people threw eggs at you?
100.
100?
It seemed like hundreds. There were probably about 12, 14 adults.
But so Co-op encouraged this?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And what was Danny's involvement in this?
I had to walk all the way home. It was about 6 miles home, and it was dark by this point. Covered completely in egg, a human omelette, walking in the snow. Danny was a friend of mine and lived about a mile away from my house, and even though I got nearly home, I was so miserable with it all. And
Heaven knows you must have been. So, you're eggy, you're Mr Omelette, you're walking along the street.
I went and knocked on Danny's door and opened the door, and Danny had a very, very good laugh. Brought me in, and then the rest of his family had a very good laugh. And then I asked Danny, could I use his shower and get a change of clothes?
Did you not fancy having a bath instead and getting poached?
No.
So you got cleaned up, and what happened then?
Well, Danny told me that some of the girls at his school were throwing a party that night. So we took off with a couple of pals to a party, and I saw this girl in the first sort of 20 seconds, and I married her, and she's my wife.
You married a 15-year-old girl?
Wow.
And had that not have happened, you would have never met her, of course, so it's...
Except, of course, this is nonsense, because Danny is someone I know because he dropped his phone when he spotted me watching him watching me. So that's, you know...
No, David. Danny's my friend.
Remind us of your relationship, Ivo.
Danny and I play together in Tutti Frutti, a woodwind trio.
And how long have you been able to play the flute?
I'd say... A
few seconds?
No. Just under a decade, I'd say.
And you're doing this professionally, are you?
No. Astonishingly, I'm doing this professionally. But it's good to know. It's good to know I've got my flute to fall back on.
Oh, you don't want to do that. You'd be whistling out your nose, wouldn't you?
So what's Danny's background, then?
We go to the football together. He's a friend of my dad's, and we go to watch Swindon Town together a few times a season. And Danny revealed that he played the flute. And...
How did that crop up? Go on, up the wing! Go on, keep going! Do you know what I did this summer?
Swindon are 3-0 down within 15 minutes. The game is over.
Yeah.
Our thoughts turn to the summer. We start talking about...
Is this the start of a Jilly Cooper?
So, Danny talks about how he'll have a bit more time for his music, and I mentioned that I would like to learn an instrument, so Danny says that he'll teach me the flute.
Where do you perform, Ivo?
It's mostly sort of village parties.
Village parties?
Yeah, you know...
Can I just check something? What century are we in?
So what's in your repertoire?
Well, I remember we did Wham! Club Tropicana.
On the flute?
Yeah.
Club Tropicana doesn't scream flute.
We scream it through our flute.
I've got a question for you, Ivo. What's the nearest note to your mouth?
A flat, and you have to make it an A by closing the hole.
Oh, well done, Ivo. Right, who would you... Well, presumably, what about David? Remind us of your claim.
Well, this is Danny, and he dropped and smashed his phone when he noticed me watching him watching me.
Right.
What the hell are you talking about?
Well, I was playing the flute, and... no, it's a different sort of tube. The London Underground.
So, you're on the tube.
No, I'm not. I'm on a platform in a tube station.
And you are...
waiting for a train.
Are you looking at your phone?
No.
What are you looking at?
I'm initially just looking maybe at an advertisement on the wall.
Oh, what for?
Maybe... I can't remember. Let's say it's Wellman tablets.
Oh.
And then I noticed Danny, and he's looking at something on his phone.
Yeah.
And there was something about it that seemed familiar.
Oh, what was it?
It was that it was me.
No. What were you doing?
I was in the programme Peep Show that I did in my youth.
Right.
And many people, whatever you say, Lee, many people like.
So he was watching Peep Show.
Yeah, and he had his headphones
Yeah,
in,
so he's
not
watching...
attached with a wire, like magic. And I was sort of looking over his shoulder a bit. I'm sidling up, if you like.
Yeah, yeah.
And then he glanced at me, and he was very surprised to see a much, much older and more tired and disappointed version of the person he was watching on the screen. And in his shock,
yeah,
he dropped his phone.
He definitely dropped it. He didn't go like that.
Yes, he definitely dropped it. He didn't
Definitely
throw it.
dropped
Why
it.
would he be so angry? He's watching me on the phone, and then he sees me and goes, "Now you've spoilt it! I thought you were fictional."
And so, what happens next? What's the conversation then?
Well, the phone smashes, and I go, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
Why are you saying sorry?
Because I'm generally infused with guilt. picked up the phone for him, and then, of course, it occurs to me, what a brilliant story for this show.
So now the story is, he's looking at his phone, he's on his own, you side look towards him like that. He sees the reflection of you, he looks, he drops the thing, and you say, "Do you want my number?"
I didn't give Danny my number, I asked for his email.
Why did you give him your email?
Because I don't want people to be able to contact me.
Very honest.
All right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team. Is Danny Johnny's helpful hero, Ivo's musical mate, or David's flustered friend?
Sinitta, what do you think? I'm over here, by the way.
When Ivo was talking about the flute, Danny did keep making sort of flute shapes with his lips. Did you notice that? He was sort of going...
When it's in your blood.
I don't think Ivo can play the flute, because I play the flute, and the note nearest to your mouth is not A.
Oh. Oh.
Actually, I don't, but now you've reacted like that. Welcome to the show, Ivo.
This game. This disgusting game.
I think Danny looks like he really likes a laugh, as that's why I think it's Johnny, because I think that when you went round, all him and his family laughed at you quite a lot, didn't they? Did they?
That's what I said, yeah.
Yeah.
So what's it going to be?
I suspect, just because Johnny said he met his wife, it's either the boldest bluff or it's true. And I think we should go with true.
We think it's Johnny. Danny, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Danny, and I rescued Johnny after he was egged.
Yes, Danny is Johnny's helpful hero. Thank you very much, Danny. See you later, mate. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lies, and we start with... It's Lee.
Possession.
Right, there's a box under your desk. First of all, Lee, put the item on the desk and then read out the card.
This is Brian May's hairbrush. Or at least it was, until he got cross and threw it at me in a restaurant.
Let's just be clear, for some people may not know who Brian May is. Yes. Just fill us in, David.
He's in Queen. What is it? Guitarist in Queen.
That's it. Well done. And here's a picture of Brian May. There he is.
So, you were having dinner with him?
No.
Okay.
He was sat on another table.
All right.
Where did the hairbrush come from?
From Anita's handbag.
His wife, Anita Dobson...
From EastEnders.
They are dining à deux.
I don't know if there's a snake there.
Brian May. You must have met him, Johnny.
Yeah.
He seems a very gentleman to me.
Yeah, he's a lovely guy.
But if anybody could provoke a gentleman to hurl a hairbrush...
It's because I said to him, Brian, all right, nothing. I got a bit tense. And I thought, well, I'll try.
But you were waving across the restaurant at him, going, Brian...
We had met many years ago, me and Brian May.
OK.
So I've given him, and he's not there, so I...
It's unclear what you've done, because they were saying it was just like that, which I would have thought would be unnoticeable across a restaurant.
Be honest, David, what does this say to you?
Well, go ahead. Do you know, that's what it says to me. It says,
so I'm making my point that you did notice it.
Yes, but it's different, isn't it? Because we're doing a television panel show, and this is a round where you are the centre of attention, right? So I'm going to notice your facial expressions much more than if this same space was occupied by a restaurant and there were several other diners in between. I would say someone over there under a much lower level of light, when it is not appropriate to have a conversation like this, is going to be unnoticeable going...
So, I gave him the nod, but it didn't work. I'm a big fan of Queen.
What's your favourite Queen album?
The Queen is Dead. It's by the Smiths.
I think your favourite album's A Night at the Opera, isn't it?
That's all right. I know what I'm doing. I like Queen. Night at the Opera. No, Day at the Races. Actually, a week on the Dodgems.
So, come on, so what happens? All you've done so far is you keep going like this to him.
So eventually, I'm thinking, I'll just revert to fan mode, because I'm a fan.
Great.
I just said, you're my second favourite guitarist in the world. Paul Weller's my first.
How did it escalate?
He said, if I wanted your opinion, I would ask for it. And I waited for him to ask for it, but he didn't. So I just carried on.
Oh, no. What did you say?
I just said, and by the way, Queen's greatest hits, well, I think there's 3 on there that shouldn't have been on the album.
Oh, no.
He said, which 3? I said, well, Freddie should have stayed and the other 3 should have gone. Which I thought was going to get a laugh. No, that's when he got the brush out. He reaches down into Anita's bag.
What does Anita say?
She went, oh, leave it there.
Yeah.
Leave it there, Brian, he's just a fan. Don't do this. No, not on our anniversary.
Yeah.
And he went, I've never heard him speak, actually, Brian, mate. And he went, listen here, Anita. I'll not have this.
He reaches for his brush.
He goes like that. He says, one more comment from you, and I will throw this brush. You can see, look, he's Brian May's hair's all
Yeah, it's the right colour hair.
Yeah. And that's not from his head.
You kept it as a souvenir.
And I kept it. Yeah, well, this is the thing. I got it.
It does look like Brian's hair, it has to be said.
It's versatile as well, because you've got Brian May's hair, but you've also got Freddie's moustache.
Right.
I float to the
All right, what do we reckon then?
Well, I mean, it's a very, very difficult one.
I believed all of it.
Yeah.
All of it except Brian May's accent.
So, David, what's the decision going to be?
Do you think it's a...
Might be a lie, yeah.
Yeah, I think we certainly think we'll go with that. We might be a lie.
It might be a lie. Was it a lie or was it actually the truth?
It's just fantasy.
It's a lie. Now, Brian May didn't throw his hairbrush at Lee. However, the hair in the brush was donated this evening by a member of our audience who is sat there in the front row. That's proper hair. So thank you, Dave. That noise signal's time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal Lee's team has won by 4 points to 1. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.